Good morning, my Teaserking family. Had a pretty good day yesterday, except for the Georgia game. Bit over came through. Michigan, I called 35-7, was 42-3. I had an idea about the Georgia-Alabama game that I want to share. I think Georgia laid down, and I'll tell you why. This way, Alabama gets in the playoff, right? If Georgia wins, they don't. And we all know how fixed everything is. Stock market, the gold prices, football. And I think they just laid down. There's no way Alabama puts up 10 on Auburn, puts up 41 on Georgia. Give me a break. That's impossible. So that's what I think happened. So now the playoff will be Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and Cincinnati. Just more bullshit. It's the way we live right now. Anyway, if I review yesterday, I had Baylor under, Kent over, lost. Lou Lafayette under wins, Cincinnati under wins, Georgia I lose, Wake Forest Pitt over I win, Michigan I win, and the Michigan over, which I told you, but I didn't play it. But I did say the Michigan over that they would score, and they ended up with the 46. Over under was 43. That was just too low, and I knew Michigan would score, but in that case, you take Michigan because you don't want to take the points. Anyway, so let's go through the line right now. What do we know? We do believe Kyler Murray is playing today. So let's go through the line as of 11:11, 12:11 your time. Minnesota 7:47, Arizona 7.5, 43. Tampa 10.5, 50.5. KC a lot of 8.5s, 46. Indy 10, 45.5. Philly 5, 44. Cincinnati is 2.5 and 50. Miami 6.5 and 40. Oakland 1.5, 47.5. Baltimore 4, 44. The Rams 13, 48. And Seattle, Frisco 3, 45. And Buffalo 3, 2.5, 41. That's what we know. So that's live as of this second, basically. Trends that we're looking at: Minnesota's won the last 8 against Detroit and beat them at home in a close game, but they had it dominated. Detroit got like 10 points because Minnesota fumbled. It was really a strange game. And then Minnie had to kick a long field goal, and they should have, again, Kirk Cousins being an idiot. Arizona, Chicago, the trends Arizona. If Kyler Murray's playing, now be careful though, because here's the problem, right? You got Fields stats and Andy Dalton stats, and Andy Dalton stats aren't too bad in all the years at Cincinnati. So I think this will be a closer game than everybody thinks. I do like Arizona in a teaser, I think, down to 1, but I don't think I'd play 7.5. Tampa's won the last 3. All Brady's against Atlanta, pretty big. Kansas City's won the last 10 against Denver, but I do think this line's a bit high. Indy is won the last 3 and 6 out of the last 7 against Houston. It only works when they play Baltimore. Pitt, the dog is good the last 4, so they've always played close games. Frisco, Seattle. Seattle's actually won the last 3, but again, they're so bad. It's just I don't know what you do with Seattle. Russell Wilson, I can't explain that. I've never seen where a guy comes back and he's act like he's playing high school ball or something. The trends, hot teams: Minnesota, Arizona, Cincinnati, New England, Indy, Buffalo, and Miami. Teams you want to bet against: San Diego, Houston, Miami, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Atlanta, Detroit, the Jets, and Minnie. And if you notice, Minnie and Miami are on both lists. They play close games and like here, Minnie's -7. They'll probably win by between 3 and 10. And if you teased it, you'd win. And then Miami's the same way. They're 4. Well, I don't know. What are they? Whatever I just said, I didn't change my sheet. So they could be 6 over the Giants. Jones is out, but again, it'll probably be a close game. I look at Miami like it's an under team. You got no quarterback. You don't really have much of a defense. I think when you have 2 good quarterbacks playing, it's an over, like San Diego and Cincinnati. You've got good quarterback play. The over under 50. I think that's an overplay, right? I've already played it over. When you got bad quarterbacks like Frisco and Seattle, I think that's an underplay. When you got like Kirk Cousins against Goff, Goff's terrible. Cousins lines up over the guard. I don't know what else to say about him. He's a freaking idiot. See, he's not clutch. So if you need a big game, you don't bet on Cousins. Now, he wins against Green Bay when he's the home dog. They're not expected to win, and it's more of a fluke type of thing where Jefferson goes off. But, I mean, what happened last week against Frisco? No, it's funny is I've had him as a lock the last 2 weeks, and I won with him the last 2 weeks, and they got the win 2 weeks ago, and then they beat San Diego, and then last week against Frisco was absolutely a joke. They should have tied the game up. It shouldn't have been close, but to lose by 8 to Frisco and giving up all those points, you just scratch your head. You don't know what Minnesota is, and that's the problem in the NFL. The only teams we really know are the 8 teams: Arizona and Tampa and KC's. I don't know if they're an A. Indy's close. They're good. Cincinnati, you don't know what you're getting. And then New England and Buffalo. And the only team I really at this point trust is New England and Tampa Bay. Ironically enough, that'll probably be the Super Bowl, right? Because New England, they look very strong. See, I really like New England against Buffalo. I'll tell you why. I just see New England. They're solid. Jones is solid. Good defense. Belichick knows how to defend it. Josh Allen's just a running quarterback. He's just a glorified Lamar Jackson who struggles passing the ball, runs way too much, and he's not a winner. So, they haven't beaten a good team, Buffalo. They beat Kansas City, which I don't think was a good team at the time. And then they lose to Tennessee. They lose to Pittsburgh. They lose to Indy. I mean, this is not a very good team because of the quarterback. And I'll Jake Fromm all day. Jake Fromm, I'd rather have. But that's what you have. I think New England should be favored in this game. So when you really look at it, it's A against A, and I'm not sure Buffalo's an A, and you tease the dog. That's how I view it. No, it's probably my girlfriend. No, I don't know who it is. Okay. So that's what you look at. So you try to look at the game, no spread, pick the points, and see how close we come. And it's just becoming more and more. It's just you don't know what team it is. Indy should beat Houston. KC Denver is a perfect example. I think Denver 15 points is good. The line dropped to 8.5. I don't know if he's a little injured, but it's just Denver's not that bad. I don't know why Denver's getting 9.5, 10 points in this game. It just doesn't make sense. Ryan, I told you Bama would show up. I don't bet against Brady or Saban. The game was fixed, Ryan. It was clearly Georgia laid down to get Alabama in the playoff. For Alabama to score 3 points on Auburn and then 41 on Georgia, and nobody's been over 10 on Georgia, makes no sense. That's, to me, just a fixed game. And, you're right. Saban fixed it. Was best play on board money line. What are you talking, Andrew? You want the best play on the board today? I would say Minnesota over Detroit in a teaser. Or money line it if you want. Minnie's won the last 8 against them. They play them very well. Detroit sucks as a home dog. Detroit probably won't win a game the whole year because they stink. They probably have the worst coach. Tampa Bay money line, absolutely. That's a W. Indy money line, that's a W. And then I like New England as a dog money line. LA, I don't trust LA to beat Jacksonville with Stafford. I don't trust Stafford as far as I could throw him. He's playing like he's on the Lions. He's a very bad quarterback. He had a few good first games to make it look like, look, we got a diamond in the rough. And now here comes the real Stafford. As soon as you put pressure on Stafford, he folds up. Who else do we know like that? Well, let's see. Josh Allen on Buffalo, Garoppolo at Frisco, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson. Let's see. Tagliabue can't handle it. See, now Burrow and Herbert can handle it. They're fine against it. Jalen Hurts, I would blitz him every down. And what you going to do? Run? I mean, so you blitz. See, and the thing I would do is I blitz safeties. I wouldn't blitz the line. I would blitz these 4-3 safeties who are faster than the quarterback, right? And just say, go get them. And that's what I would do. Let's see. You can't really blitz Mahomes. I don't know about Bridgewater. Ryan knows how to pick it. Of course, Brady knows it's coming before it's coming. Him and Rodgers are like the only 2 quarterbacks that see the blitz, audible eyes out of it, go, hit the receivers, go to the empty spot, and the blitz doesn't bother him. Dalton probably can handle it. Fields can't. Kyler Murray, I don't know if he can or not. I haven't seen enough of him. Obviously, Goff can't handle it. Cousins can't handle it. And then we saw Prescott, and New Orleans needs a replacement for Drew Brees pretty badly, don't they? I like Buffalo. Okay. I like New England. I think to talk to Ryan, I'm not betting against Belichick the way he's playing right now. Buffalo, I don't think's that good. I think that they beat Miami, Buffalo, New England over, and Arizona Bears have no big play potential. Dalton's a good quarterback. That's what if you watched him. But I agree. I don't. It's the NFL. There's all the receivers are professionals. They can get down the field. So you can't say that. But Arizona, they look really good. They got a strong defense. So the only reason I'd bet Arizona is their defense. Buffalo, New England over 43. See, now you're messing with your own theory. You're going to go against Belichick's defense. And I'm not sure Josh Allen running is going to put up a lot of points, but I will tell you New England will score a lot. So I think it's like the Michigan game. I think you didn't – I like the over in the game, but I like Michigan a whole lot more. And it's the same here. I like the points in the game, but I like New England to win a whole lot more. CFL playoffs on today. Yeah, my buddy in Vegas likes the CFL. He thinks it's easier than the pros. And he might be right. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the CFL. Not since Warren Moon left Edmonton. I see over-under drop to 41 on Buffalo. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't I read the line first thing I did on here, but I haven't updated my sheet. I didn't want to waste time updating the sheet. 41 is on the Buffalo. Is that it? Ryan, the over-under dropped to 41 on Buffalo, New England. If it did, I would say maybe there's snow in Buffalo. Although that tends to not really affect an over-under as much as the wind. The one thing I remember the hurricane games in college. there was some really high scoring teams, and the hurricane came and it poured. And those games ended like 3-0. So that's the weather you worry about, is a heavy rain and heavy winds. Then you're not going to get a lot of scoring. Snow doesn't really matter because the offense knows where it's going. It probably makes the games higher. You know the deal. Hello. Brady over 0.5 rushing yards at -110, as long as no deal downs at the end of the game, almost always hits. Well, there's going to be kneel downs for Tampa, but so he gets his quarterback sneaks for a couple of yards. How many is he going to do? 2, 3? Is he going to run on who are they playing? Atlanta with their soft defense? Probably. If you think about it, I don't really look at Brady and the running, but 0.5 rushing yards minus, I guess. Just take Tampa Bay, I think. Cut them to -4, playing with Indy, playing with Minnesota, playing with New England. Just go there, I think. Now, Daniel Jones, we know, is out for the Giants. I would say that Miami game's an under, but it's already down to like 40. You can't trust Miami to win. Daniel Jones, the backup, I can't remember the backup, somebody I heard of who's not very good, but he's been in the league for 5 years somehow, and that's the problem. I think the Washington-Oakland, I think, is an over at 49 to go over 43. I think that Washington, Heineke's okay, and they don't have the two big defensive players, Young and Sweat. So Carr should have time. Oakland has no defense. 49 to 43 is 27-20, and you're over. Oakland should score in the 20s, and then Washington, you never know what they're going to do. But both teams, I'm doing my college look in the pros. Both teams have weak defenses. So I think that's an over for sure, 43.5 or whatever. Maybe it's 50 now. I don't know. But that's what you go. We got a half hour to kick off. Baltimore Pitt. All I can say is Pitt, after last week, is freaking pissed off. Which the coach had him in pads. That's how pissed he was. I think Pitt stays alive. I think Pitt -10 at home. Pitt -10. Pitt +10, you mean? At home, TJ Watt is back, which will help. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know how good Lamar Jackson. I mean, Pittsburgh sees him enough that they should know how to defend him. But like I was saying, Pittsburgh's pissed off. God, why can't I can see the coach? I can't think of his name right now, but he had him in pads, and this is do or die. That was the one thing I must say with the Alabama game yesterday is it was do or die for Alabama, and with the backs, it was not backs against the wall for Georgia. And I thought about that after the game. Why did I lose it? And that was why. Tomlin, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about so many things that I miss a name. But Tomlin had him in pads. So, yeah, I agree. I think Pitt and 10's a really good play. But, again, the back was against the wall of Alabama. If they lost, they weren't in the playoff. Georgia was in the playoff with a win or loss. So they really could lose, and they looked like they really could lose. That was my fault. And, it's okay. The one thing I learned in life is it's okay to make mistakes. Just learn from them. I was in a team building at Ford, and there was a carpet with squares, and there was 4 squares and 10 rows. And you had to get from one end to the other in 5 minutes, the whole team. And you didn't know is 3 of the 4 squares would beep. And so you didn't know which one would beep. And so everybody was being careful, and they were trying to not hit the beep one, and you ran out of time. So eventually what we learned was you go through it as quick as you can. And when you get to the beep, somebody says, this square is a bad square, and you just do trial and error all the way down. And the key was you learn from your mistake. It's okay to beep the square. Now you don't use that square anymore, and you use the other. It was a very good team building and a very good. Don't be afraid to make the mistake. Otherwise, you sit there and you don't make the play. So it's okay. Lesson learned was Georgia didn't need the game and Alabama did, even though I would have thought Georgia would have played and they didn't play. Now, when you get the rematch, you'll see the real Georgia team, and then then we load up on it. But I've been very good with Georgia under. I was surprised they scored so much, but I guess if they didn't play, they didn't really care. But definitely a different team. So who's backs against the wall? Let's go down the list. Minnesota obviously must win. Arizona doesn't need the win. The Bears are too far out, but Arizona right now is 1 seed. Green Bay needs the win, but they're not playing. Dallas needed the win. So now we're looking at 1 seeds. Tampa Bay needs the win for 1 seed. Atlanta's out of it. Denver and KC both need to win. Everybody's within a game of the division, so it's a playoff game. Indy needs the win to catch Tennessee. Philly, they're so far out from Dallas, but they could get a wild card. The Jets, unless they move into the ACC, they're out of it. San Diego needs the win. Cincinnati needs the win. The Giants don't. Well, they need a miracle. Miami, they're out of it. Washington's kind of in the same boat as Philly, where they could win. They're still mathematically alive. Oakland needs the win. Baltimore and Pitt both need the win. Jacksonville and LA. Jacksonville going for the number 1 pick again. The Rams need the win for the wild card. They're ahead, but folding fast. The Niners really need the win. Seattle's so far back, forget it. And New England and Buffalo both need to win. New England, this is for first place. And to quote Ryan, when you're going for first place, you bet on Belichick. You bet the coach, just like you don't bet against Saban. So I will agree with that logic, and it's very good logic. I don't want to bet against Belichick in this game. Now that he's got Matt Jones, he's got a good quarterback, and they're scoring. You know the defense is going to play, and you know he knows how to beat Buffalo. Buffalo is not that good. Josh Allen is not that good. You've got to understand that. He isn't. He wants to run too much. He's got a good arm, but he can't read. He throws a lot of bad passes, picks, and yeah, they're flashy, and they'll pile it on against the Jets in Miami, and you go, wow, look how good Buffalo is. But they lost to Pitt, Indy, Tennessee. What happened in those games? Why did they lose them if they're such a great team? And the only team they won was at a dog against Kansas City. Here they're a favorite against New England, and we all love New England as a dog, especially now. Upset of the joy is Detroit over many. I know you're going to call me crazy. Well, not after yesterday, but it's not Alabama. I mean, Detroit hasn't won a game, and Minnesota's won the last 8. So, is it Kirk Cousins or what? Josh Allen is top 7 quarter. I got Buffalo in the Super. I got Buffalo in the Super Bowl with Jake Fromm. I don't have him in the Super Bowl with Josh Allen, and I don't know why he's a top 7 quarterback. We can all look at stats and different things, but I look at the player, and I look at him against Pitt and Tennessee and Indy. If he's a top 7 quarterback, they would have won the games. Joe Montana would have won those games. Okay. Brett Favre would have won the games. I can't say Marino would have because he couldn't win the big games because they didn't have a running attack. But I don't see him as a top 7 quarterback. He runs too much, and I'm not into this running quarterback. My era is the pocket passer, the Montanas, the Aikmans, Steve Young was kind of a runner, but look how many times he won. Jim McMahon was a really good pocket passer. So I look at that. I look at the Redskins when they won. They were all their passers were pocket passers. I don't like a quarterback that runs more than their running back does. Okay, and then it doesn't work in the red zone. That's the problem. So when they get to the 20, there's nobody to throw the ball to because it's all condensed, and then you have You need a running attack. Well, the quarterback can't run because he's going to slide. He's not going to take the hit. You need a guy who's going to bash the line and get the 2 yards, like a Henry, like a lot of these. Look at the Michigan game. Those running backs ran through guys. They didn't slide. That's the problem with the quarterback. So I'll take you on that one. I'll bet against Buffalo. They won't win the playoffs. I mean, they're not going to beat. All right, we'll see today. So today's the championship game. They're playing New England. Let's see how they do. That'll be the measure right here, Ryan. If they can beat New England at home this is for a play. This is for the number 1 spot in their division. So let's see what happens. I think it's a big arm and a lot of heart. I know it sounds corny, but I think he will be successful for years. I disagree. I would never have drafted him. I think Trask from Florida is on Tampa is a much better quarterback. I think Jake Fromm from Georgia, who's sitting on the bench, is a much better quarterback because he did it in the SEC. He did it against Florida, Alabama, LSU. Even though they lost to Alabama in the SEC last year, he put up 45 points on that defense. Was freaking good. See, again, the Oklahoma quarterbacks are just running quarterbacks. That's why I don't like them. That's why Jalen Hurts. Look at him last year. He lost to the fucking Giants. What is that? That should never happen. You know the deal. I hate the Pats, but if you give me points in a potential snow game, it's a no-brainer. Pat winning. Oh, it's snowing there. Is that why they were under? Again, I don't think the snow affects the score as much as everybody thinks because the offense knows where it's going, and they have unless it's like 5 inches or 10 inches of snow, I don't know, but they usually shovel it off. But yeah, that's where you take the defense. And Belichick's played in enough snow games, like my favorite game, the Brady versus Woodson game. The Woodson hit, fumble, but for some reason it wasn't a fumble. It was the most unbelievably bad call I've ever seen in my life. It was a clear fumble. So Belichick knows the snow, and New England, it's not a big deal. But in this game, I almost think New England's the better team, but I got to take the dog. You're giving me New England in 9 against Buffalo is a joke. I mean, it's a joke. New England should be the favorite here. You've got to look at it not emotionally. You can't say, well, Buffalo's this great team. They're not. They lose to Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Indy. Indy killed them. Okay, if Buffalo is such a great team, how did Indy kill them? How did they lose at Tennessee? They're a lot better than Tennessee. And I thought, I don't know, was that the game Henry got hurt in or whatever? But that's my point. Here's New England. They're beating everybody. So they've got the rhythm now with Matt Jones. So New England's knowing how to play. They always have the defense. So, and they got the coach. This is what cracks me up. All these defensive coordinators move on. The only defensive coordinator New England's had for the last 25 years has been Bill Belichick, the New York Giant defensive coordinator who took the credit for Lawrence Taylor, but it was all Lawrence Taylor. That's why the Giants were so successful. And so when these other teams grab these defensive coaches from, look at the Lions with the fat guy, the rocket scientist, Matt Patricia. He wasn't the defensive coordinator of New England. Bill Belichick was the defensive coordinator of New England. And look how good the Lions did. They won, 5 games in 2 years? And then look at the talent they have. They're gonna lose every game this year. I don't get why they keep hiring New England assistant coaches when none of them are the coach. Belichick's the coach. You want to hire a New England coach, hire Belichick. That's it. Everybody else, forget about it. They've never done anything in any other place. The closest guy has been this Tennessee coach, and that's only because, and the real reason is because he played at Ohio State, Vrabel, and played under a good coach there, and then Belichick. But he wasn't really a defensive coach at New England. He was just a player who played under Ohio State and played New England. That's how he knows to go. He's probably using more Ohio State stuff than he's using New England stuff. You know the deal. You've got to stop if you're going to be a serious bettor, you can't hate and love anybody, any team. People ask me my favorite team, and I really this week it's probably New England and the over in the Oakland game and the over in the Cincinnati game. I can't really get caught up in favorite team and hating teams. I can only get caught up in I'm going to bet on Tom Brady because he's the winner. Joe Judge enough. So, yeah, well, there you go. Joe Judge, the Miami coach, he's clueless. The Lion coach, he's clueless. I mean, you just go down the list. The big fat guy coached at Notre Dame. He did really good for about a year with somebody else's players. But I mean, that's how stupid these GMs and owners are now. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to hire GMs. Every coach is like, "Oh, we're going to get a running quarterback. Look how good that's working. Look how many Super Bowls did Lamar Jackson win? Jalen Hurts made the playoffs. No, the only one that's halfway good is Kyler Murray because he can throw, and Baker Mayfield is now a pocket passer, not a runner. And look how good Cleveland's doing. They're not great, but they're much better than they were. So running quarterbacks do not work because the defense, first of all, is seeing so many of them. They know how to defense it, and it's much easier to put three safeties on the field, and now I'm faster than the quarterback and sack them than it is defending Tom Brady or defending Joe Burrow or defending look at Justin Herbert. He comes in, he's 99% a pocket passer. He'll run a little, but the problem is the red zone. It's as simple as that. You get to the 15. What are you going to do? You're going to scramble as a quarterback? Where are you going to go? You're going to have to run through players. Now you risk injury. What the hell kind of strategy is that? You've got to have a running. You've got to have a running back. You've got to have running backs. I saw an article about what the guy got injured. Which running back got injured? I can't think of it, but they're making the case of, well, this is why you don't draft a running back in the first round. And I nearly threw up. I would be drafting running backs in the first round all day. I'm a diehard boys fan and generally never bet on my team. Heart makes dumb choices more than not. It's okay to like the team and have favorites. I just watched Money Heist. I loved it. I love The Professor. I love Tokyo, but I'm not betting it. And this is a business. What we're doing here, we're trying to make money. We're trying to make the best decisions possible. I give you as many variables as I've discovered in my 50 years of doing this. I was like 10 years old when I started betting quarters in 1969, 1970. Okay, and when I'd lose, I'd get mad and I'd try to figure out what happened. And about the 1980s, I figured out just bet on Joe Montana, just bet on these teams and bet against the weak teams. And then I slowly carried it out to they need the game for the playoffs. There's a bye. They're not going to play as good. And that's what I try to tell you guys and educate you is there's so many variables. You cannot use math. You've got to use – it's a lot of gut. It's a lot of art. It's a lot of things that you watch it like, well, why do I knock Josh Allen? Because I know I watched Steve Young lose, and I watched Dante Culpepper lose, and I the guy on Philly, Cunningham. They didn't win because you can't win with a running quarterback. It's impossible. There's never been a running quarterback that's run. There never will be because once you get in the red zone, he's useless. So look at Lamar Jackson. He got lucky to win a playoff game last year because he played Tennessee. But look at the first 2 years. He didn't win a playoff game. Well, why? He's so good, because you can't win with it. You've got to win because you've got to use your receivers, right? Tom Brady, what does he do? He uses Gronk. He uses Antonio Brown. He's got Evans. That's what you do. You're paying these receivers millions of dollars. You're supposed to throw it to them, not have your quarterback run for 10 yards and slide, and then hopefully he doesn't get hurt because if he gets hurt, well, in Buffalo's case, they get an improvement because they get Jake Fromm. But in most cases, you lose your starting quarterback and you're in trouble. And I was shocked Colt McCoy did as well as he did because I was betting against Arizona with Colt McCoy. But that's what you're looking at, and that's why I say what I did, because I watched this so long. I know I've seen it happen before. You look for a Jimmy Johnson. I probably bought a house with Jimmy Johnson. Um, I probably bought a house with the whole Miami program. I had them getting 14 against Nebraska in the '84 championship game, and that's what I look for. You look for the best, the better players, and you go against the weak ones. And I have an eye for who's good and who's bad. Josh is not a good quarterback. I give you Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Herbert, Joe Burrow. I'm giving you Joe Burrow. I would rather have Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. I'm going to go further in the playoffs. Look at Cincinnati. They got Joe Burrow and Chase, and all of a sudden they're a freaking playoff team. So that's what happens. You know the deal. The refs can make or break a game. Been too many games this year that look 100% fixed. I 1,000% agree, including the Georgia-Alabama game yesterday. Absolutely. And, it frustrates us in football, but it's frustrating more in gold and stocks. They print the money. They put it in the stocks. The stock market goes up. And it's insider trading, and it's all fixed. And then they artificially keep the price of gold low so the Chinese and the Russians can buy it cheap. What the fuck is that? I mean, either you have a market or you don't, and the market for everything but that. Yes, the refs make the worst calls. And the problem, I think, the biggest problem with the refs is these bailout calls. He throws a pass in the end zone. That's not even close to the receiver. It's 10 yards over his head or short. And the guy, I don't know why the defensive backs can't read either. In other words, don't get it. And then I think there's a lot of soccer acting going on where they're taking dives and the ref sees the guy fall down and he's throwing the flag because he obviously got pushed down. He can't go down on his own. I mean, come on. These are only professional athletes that you can't get them off their feet. If me and you tried tackling these guys, we couldn't budge them. But here a guy touches them and they fall down to get the pass interference flag. Absolutely. And but that's what I do. I've factored in the price fixing, the fixing here. I buy gold because I know the price fixing will eventually die, and then gold will go to its true price of about $10,000 an ounce until the U.S. dollar goes out, and then you got to price it against a new currency, and really it'll be two gold ounces will buy you a house. That's what will eventually happen. But the U.S. dollar will go to zero. So don't keep any freaking money in your bank. You got to get it out, buy a safe, put it in that, buy gold and silver with it. Take your money out of the bank. Leave about $5,000 to pay your bills. Do not leave it. There's going to be bank runs, and the money is going to be worthless. And you don't need me. Just look at what the hell's going on. Every punter pulls a Charlie Brown and falls down looking for a flag. Flopping should be a flag. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not only the punters. It's everything. It's the receivers. It's the quarterback. All this bullshit of you got to protect the quarterback. So if the guy gets close to him, we call roughing the passer. Or what's with these hard tackles? Well, you tackle them too hard. That's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. You can't tackle them that hard. It's football. If they don't want the contact, go play tennis or golf, okay? Don't play football. Football is a contact sport. I mean, my God, what would the 72 Steelers, Jack Lambert, what would he have done? I mean, if you'd have called a penalty on him every play of the game. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's not what anybody wants. I don't like this new football. I don't like I was watching the Michigan game yesterday, and the guy, they're about to do the next play, and they stopped the game to review helmet-to-helmet hit. The guy hits him with the helmet, and they still don't call the penalty. If the ref who's standing 3 feet away can't make the call, why the fuck are you stopping the game to do an instant replay in super slow motion? Because that's how the ref sees it, right? He sees it in super slow motion. Why are there refs on the field? I don't understand that, and why do they stop the fucking game? It's like, let's go to a movie and we'll go watch Money Heist, and you're going to put a commercial in it in the middle. Wait, what are you doing? I don't want to stop the movie so you can look at a play. Who gives a shit? If the play's over, the ref didn't make the call. Move on. Don't stop the game. I don't know how anybody can watch it. I can't even. I turn the sound off. I can't listen to Herb Kirkstreet. I can't listen to Gary Danielson. It's all Alabama. I mean, oh my God, you can't. None of these analysts you can listen to. It's just ridiculous. Um, but anyway, so who needs the game? So as we get down to the nitty gritty now, we're on week 13. There's 17 weeks, so there's 4 more weeks, and then the playoffs. Keep in mind who needs the game. Keep in mind who's healthy and not healthy. Look at the coach. I know there's a pretty pathetic bunch of coaches out there. You got Belichick, Coach Pete, who's having his worst year in his life. Vrabel's okay at Tennessee because he went to Ohio State. And, I don't, if I go down the list, the Dallas coach sucks, Minnesota coach sucks, Arizona, he needs to play in the Southwest Conference. I don't know Tampa Bay's coach anything. Kansas City's coach terrible. Let's look at the 4 playoff games he lost at Philadelphia. Everybody wants to say he's great. I don't know. I can't name the Philly coach, the Jet coach, San Diego coach, and none of these coaches are any good. So I mean, it's really hard, but that's what you learn. Then you got Belichick, far better coach than whoever the Buffalo coach is. Who, if he's starting Josh Allen, can't be very good. Anyway, that's what I see. So keep an eye on who needs the games. Live dogs. So today, let's look at the live dogs today. Chicago, Denver, the Jets, San Diego, Washington, Pitt, Jacksonville, and New England. Those are teams that I think can win the game or be alive, keep the game very close. I think Tampa Bay and Indy blow out. I think. I don't think the Rams blow out. I think Frisco could blow out Seattle, but Seattle's won the last 3. I think the running back's out, and that's it. There's no way Buffalo can blow out New England. That's not even a conversation piece. Maybe they win, but it's going to be close if they win. Anyway, yes, be careful for the fixed. I'll be having my bowl special, $100 for all the bowl games, including the playoffs. Be $100 starting. Next week's Army Navy. If Army's the dog, bet them big. I love Army. And then we get to the bowls, which might even be the week, like the Tuesday or Wednesday will be the Sun Belt versus the MAC. We can bet Kent State against Louisiana Lafayette or whatever. So keep that in mind. So that'll be coming up in the playoffs. So let's see how Alabama does when the game's not fixed when they play in there. But I think Michigan maybe has a chance because they're running and they get pressure on the quarterback. I think they can beat Alabama. I don't think anybody can beat Georgia when Georgia actually plays. And then Cincinnati. If Cincinnati doesn't make it in, I won't watch the playoffs. I mean, that's just freaking ridiculous. They beat Notre Dame. They should be in. They're clearly a very good team. It's basically Ohio State, right? It's an Ohio State coach, Ohio State's defense, Ohio State's offense. So let's say it's Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Michigan. So, Alabama, they don't deserve it, but okay, they're going to get in because it's their playoff, right? They get in every year, but it's a joke. They need to get 10 teams in there. But anyway, so that'll be coming out, $100 for that. And in the meantime, good luck today. Now, if we lose, so let's say I have Minnesota with New England. So here's how you do teasers, right? If I win Minnesota and I don't want to risk a lot, I'll bet Buffalo -3 to trap the game. If Minnesota loses, I will then come back with a New England and maybe the under in the Frisco game or the over in the Oakland game or the over in the Cincy game. I'll pick some 4:00 game to play with New England and on because I want New England action. So that's how you do teasers. If you lose the first game, you come on with the second like I like New England. If Minnie loses, then it's New England with somebody else. I'll make that bet. So you can see on the site what I picked. So then just go with what you want. You'll see the 4 o'clock game or the night game. I don't know who the night game is. Is it Baltimore now or is it Frisco, Seattle? I don't know. They put them out of order, but play the night game with New England if you want. But that's about it. So again, keep in mind, yes, it's fixed. We look at the trends. So the fix is apparently good for Minnesota, Green Bay, Arizona, Cincinnati, New England's on the fix, Indy. So these teams are all good against the number. So that means that they're good on the fix. And then teams like Jacksonville, Atlanta, San Diego, the Jets, Detroit, obviously the refs hate them. And I do believe the refs hate Detroit. They've gotten the such bad calls every game, and they apologize. Oh, sorry, we missed that flag. I remember that they were playing somebody a couple years ago, and they got a penalty with 8 seconds left in the game, and they said, well, we got to do the 10-second runoff. They had the ball at the goal line, and that was the game, and they didn't get the last play in because there was some sort of penalty or something. And because of it, they lost the game at the goal line. So yeah, if anybody gets fixed, it's a Detroit you bet against. So that's the thing. I don't see Detroit upsetting Minnesota, but again, you shouldn't play black when red's hitting. So what I'm saying is if red hits roulette 10 in a row, you play red, you don't play black. You're trying to play black here. You're saying, well, Detroit hasn't won a game. They're due. They're not due. They are a terrible team that is not well coached with lousy quarterback and lousy players. That you've got to realize that, and you keep betting against Detroit until they win when red finally hits. Like Georgia under, I won with them 9 times in a row. So I lost with them yesterday. Not a big deal. I've made so much money off of them for the previous 9 weeks. It doesn't matter. I knew I would lose eventually with Georgia under, but I didn't expect it to be Alabama with their defense. So it happens, but I've won the prior 9 weeks, not saying they're due to go over, saying they keep going under, they keep going under, they keep going under. Let's play them under. So that's how you have to think. So I wouldn't play Detroit today because that for a win. If you have a real good reason, if Kirk Cousins is out and all of a sudden Barry Sanders is going to play for the Lions and Calvin Johnson came back and, if that, Alex Karras is going to play, everybody who was good is going to play, then I would say that's why I would take Detroit, but that's not happening. So you can't play it on the if come, well, they're due for a win. They're never due. This is trend analysis, streaks. This is how you bet. If it's hot, you stay with it. If it's cold, you stay you don't play the cold, you play the hot. And that's how you gamble. That's how we make money. And that's what I've been doing my whole life. And I've been very successful doing it. So don't go against the trend. Don't take the Lions because if you have a real good reason. Now, Minnesota's won the last 8, so I'd be like, why would I play the Lions? Minnesota. Now, if Detroit won the last 8, I would say, yeah, Detroit would do it. Derek, no fucking way Detroit beats Minnesota. Stay off the weed. I'm not talking about me, Derek. I'm talking about Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams said, and I don't know if you can see the chat. Ryan says, let's see, where did he say it? Here, Ryan Williams, upset of the day is Detroit over Minnesota. I know you're going to call me crazy. So I'm referring to that. I like Minnesota. I've already bet Minnesota with New England. So no, it's not my opinion. I'm trying to explain that you take Minnesota, you can't take Detroit. So I'm just explaining that. I am not on Detroit. I am on Minnesota. -1, I think, is a joke. I think that I played that hard with New England. That's the way I played it. But no, I agree. There's no way Detroit wins. It's not They can't beat the Bears. They're not going to beat the Vikings. The Vikings need the game, even with Kirk Cousins, as bad as he is. He is from Detroit, played at Michigan State. But whatever that's worth, he'll probably have a good game. Andy Reid is great off a bye. I like KC. Well, I think KC is going to be in for a big game against Denver. I think Denver will keep it close. KC might win, especially I saw it go down to 8. So if you tease it down to 2, I'd feel comfortable, but I'd rather take Denver in 15, 16 points. I don't think Denver's that bad of a team, and I don't think KC's that strong of a team. And Andy Reid's the biggest choke coach I've ever seen. Look at the 4 or 5 years at Philadelphia when he kept losing conference championship games with Donovan McNabb. So I'm not an Andy Reid fan. Guy like that costs me money when they playing championship games at home and losing. I can't back a guy like that. Jimmy Johnson, yeah, absolutely. Bill Walsh, absolutely. Parcells, absolutely. I will bet them until I die, but not Andy Reid. Sorry, I don't. Like I said, I don't. The only coach I see like that now is Belichick and Coach Pete when he's got a normal Russell Wilson. I would bet on him. And outside of that, I don't see a coach in the NFL who's any good. Frank Wright at Indy's okay. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a good quarterback. I do remember that my Maryland-Miami game, he cost me some money there. I had Miami even. And then the Buffalo game where they were down 35 points and he came in to win. I had Buffalo in that game. But, he's a good closer, but he's not a good coach. There is no good coach. It's very hard to bet the coach. You can bet Belichick or Saban or Tom Brady. You got to look for the players, but they're running out of players. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got Brady. I'm hoping that Joe Burrow turns into that. We'll see about San Diego. Herbert, he looks good, but he throws a lot of picks, and he loses games he shouldn't be losing. Lamar Jackson's not the answer. Ben used to be. Stafford obviously is not. Garoppolo's horrible. Russell Wilson used to be, but I'm betting Russell Wilson, and he's getting killed, so it's hard to say. Derek, Pitt and Baltimore have always played close games by at least 3 points. Well, not all 3, but yes, I agree. Normally, in the last 10 years when you had it was Flacco against Roethlisberger. All those would be real close, and they'd all be Baltimore. Baltimore would cover, and they'd be close. I'm not sure with the Lamar Jackson if they've been playing close, but I know Pitt knows how to defend them. That's the advantage when you see him twice a year. You know how to defend them. Cincinnati's obviously learned how to defend them. We know Pittsburgh knows how to defend them, and J.J. Watt's playing. So I don't think Jackson does anything this year. He won't be this game. He won't be the MVP of the league. What a joke that is, right? You got Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, and you're calling Lamar Jackson the MVP. Oh my God. Any money heist comments? I just love that ending. I thought it was just a beautiful way to end that thing, and I tried doing it yesterday, but I didn't get enough people. But definitely, see, that's the coach I want to bet on is the professor. That's that type of coach. Oh, they blitzed us. Well, we threw a screen. Oh, they rushed 3. We then did a post pattern, or we ran the ball because they only had 5 on the line. That's the coach I want to bet on, but I can't. But he doesn't exist right now since Jimmy Johnson left. I miss Jimmy Johnson. He should never have quit coaching to be an announcer. What a joke that is. I hate when the good coaches do that. You're a coach. That's what you do. I'm a handicapper. That's what I do. If I start playing golf, that's really not the best use of my skill set. So you've got to do that. But anyway, that's what happens. So anyway, the money heist, beautiful. Beautiful ending, beautiful show. Love the professor in Tokyo. Absolutely. Houston is playing for picks. I think Indy blows them away. Well, Houston, keep in mind, they've not had Tyrod Taylor as bad as he is. And they've had David Mills, who I was betting against when he was at Stanford. He sucked. I don't understand how you see a guy in college suck, and then he goes and you think he's going to do something in the pros, unless it's just for keeping the money down. Houston's playing for draft picks, but they don't even need just trade for Jake Fromm or trade for Trask at Tampa. You got quarterbacks that are just sitting on the bench that are better than you're going to get in the draft. Um, the best quarterback in the draft to me is Carson Strong, Nevada, the kid from Fresno State, excellent quarterback. The kid from Coastal Carolina, excellent quarterback. McCall, although they've struggled a little bit. No, he's been okay. Liberty's been the one struggling. Those are your top three quarterbacks, but they won't talk about them because they're not Power 5 conferences. But who the fuck cares about Power 5? I want a good quarterback. And I'm seeing how good Tagliabue and Trevor Lawrence looks like a superstar, doesn't he? Because they played at Clemson and Alabama, and they must be great because they played at Clemson and Alabama. I'm so sick of that shit. But Houston, keep in mind now, they're a different team with Tyrod Taylor. Not that he's great, but he runs a little, and he's played in the league a while. I never thought he was any good at Virginia Tech, and now he in the pros, he's had a few good games. But I agree, Indy off of the loss to Tampa, and they played very well with Tampa. See, last week I didn't know what to do because Tampa was favorite. I didn't get Tampa as the dog, so I went over, and I made it in the third quarter. This is not the same type of game because Houston doesn't score that much and their defense isn't bad. Let's look at weak defenses. I've been doing this in college. The teams that give up over 30, I've been calling them weak defenses and betting against them and being very successful. So if I look at the pros, I think I've got it at 27 points a game because there's nobody giving up 30. So the weak defenses are Detroit, Atlanta, Houston, the Jets, San Diego, Washington, Oakland, and Jacksonville. And let's correlate that to all of them suck except for maybe San Diego. They're all terrible teams that you bet against. Today you got Washington, Oakland. That's why I bet the game over because both defenses suck. Derek, Taylor in Houston was up on Jets by 2 touchdowns and let the Jets blow them away. Well, yeah, that's true. The Jets' mighty Zach Wilson did lead the comeback. But it was some weird turnovers. I saw one where he threw the ball right at a defensive lineman, and the guy popped it up, and he caught it. So it was mostly turnovers. Are you going to get turnovers by Indy? I'm sure Indy will do a block punt. They seem to always do that. So you got to always go, why? Why did they come back? And the reason was the turnovers. So that's really the eye test you've got to ask yourself is the why. Why did the Jets come back? It was 2 turnovers and one of those stupid pass interference penalties that gave the Jets a gift touchdown. So that's really what happened. Houston really didn't do anything. Again, they got a turnover deep and they got a pass interference penalty off of a turnover. So that's really where they came back. But yeah, Houston's nothing. They're nothing great. But they did get up 2 touchdowns on the mighty Jets. I don't know how the Jets win a game. I honestly think they would not beat Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs. If they played them, I think Georgia would win by 17. There's some teams. I don't know how Jacksonville, well, they won the one game because they played Miami, but here they have no chance, but I have no confidence in Stafford. I don't know if it's an under game. But here's where the Rams should blow them out. Jacksonville has a terrible defense, no quarterback, no offense. Urban Meyer is really doing a great job coaching, isn't he? Lombardi came into Green Bay in 1959, and they hadn't won in 12 years. He comes in, and they go 8-6, or maybe it was a 12-game schedule, so he goes like 7-5. Okay, he did not have a losing year the first year. They had talent, but they bring in Lombardi. The next year, they're in the championship game. You see that with Urban Meyer? They can't even go 500 with Urban Meyer. he doesn't. I mean, at Ohio State, he paid the players, and he had all good players, and he gets credit for it. Now, he did it at Utah. He did it at Florida for a while, and then Alabama came on and he quit. He took his ball and ran home, and then at Ohio State, he got caught doing illegal stuff, and then he had to quit. So now he's at Jacksonville purely for the money. He's not serious about it. He wouldn't have drafted Trevor Lawrence. He would have drafted his own guy, Fields, from Ohio State. So I'm shocked he drafted Lawrence. Lawrence, not very good. But again, the Rams, where they should blow this team out, if this was a college game, it'd be Alabama against New Mexico State, and they'd win six. The game would be in the 50s at halftime, but you never see that in the pros. I get this weird, the message is held for review, so I got to click on it. I love your comments. You're the best. Oh, thank you, Derek. Please don't mention Georgia. That shit of a team. Don't get up for it. It's not that they didn't get up, Derek. They had the playoff clinched and the game was fixed. So Alabama could win and Alabama could also get in the playoff. So what you saw there was Money Heist. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen Money Heist or not. And I don't want to ruin the ending for you. It was a beautiful fucking ending. It was a beautiful fucking plot. But it was, let's just say it was sleight of hand. It was magic. And that's what you had yesterday. Georgia did not try because they wanted to get Alabama in the playoff. The real Georgia team we saw the last 8 weeks. And that's what you're going to see in the playoff. I guarantee you Alabama will not score 14 points on Georgia when they play them in the championship game, if they play them, if Michigan doesn't handle Alabama. I don't know Alabama can handle Michigan. The way they destroyed Iowa with a good defense and the way they destroyed Ohio State, I'm not sure Alabama is on the same field with Michigan, although I don't think anybody's on the same field with Georgia. So understand what happened yesterday. It was purely magic. It was purely fixed. It was made so Alabama could get in the playoff. That's what it was. It wasn't real. And just like I said, with the stock market, it's not real. It's all magic. They print the money. They put it in. The market should be at nothing. It should have already crashed, but be careful. It's all magic. So that's what happened with Georgia. They are by far the best team in college, and they will beat half the pro teams if they actually tried. So again, it's a tough. I mean, the NFL's got so many E teams and U teams. It's Washington, Oakland. Who the fuck knows? When have you heard that? Where you look at a game and you don't. I can't take Washington as the dog. I can't trust Oakland, and it's every game. Okay, Tampa we can trust. Indy maybe we can trust. I don't trust Kansas City against Denver. I like Denver getting 15 points. Now, I don't think Denver's going to win, but getting 15, I mean, they're not bad. Bridgewater's okay. Minnie, okay, they're an E team playing a Z team, and I think Minnie wins. But I don't really trust Kirk Cousins all that much after he lined up over the fucking guard last week. Baltimore Pitts an E against an under. The Rams are an E team. They're not an A or a B team. So then you get New England, Buffalo, 2 A's, and I'll take the dog there. Now I know what to expect from New England. Yeah, I'm sorry, Derek, but it's, eventually red hits 20 times in a row. Eventually black does hit, and then now you get off of it. There's only one more. Well, there might be 2 more games, Georgia in the playoffs, but we'll have lots of games in the bowls. Miami over, Wake Forest over, Pitt over, Louisiana Lafayette. I was really proud of that game. I picked Louisiana Lafayette over App State. And they won. I didn't expect them to win, but I said they're 2 A teams, and they got it. The Baylor game, I really love that game. That was probably my proudest pick yesterday. Was Baylor, Lou Lafayette. The Cincinnati game, I kept it under. Again, Houston hadn't played anybody, so I mean that's what you did. The Wake Pitt game over. They made it in the early fourth quarter, 66. But yeah, I mean, it's a matter of over unders is how you got to play half of these games, and even those Minnesota, I never know which team shows up. My friend has he says Seattle plays under, Detroit plays under all the time, so that's kind of what we have. But I think it's time to watch some football. Although I think I'll watch Money Heist season 5 again. That's more exciting than football. Um, but yeah, it's hard to watch the announcers. Some idiot talking about God knows what is what you have there. But anyway, so that's it. Good luck, everybody, today. Let me know. It's www.teaserking.com. My email's on it. I don't know if my email's on here or not, but just please, if you have questions or comments, just email me there. I'm sorry I F up. Never will I take Georgia in a big game. Well, no, there's. I don't know if these have been big games, but we've been with Georgia under all the time. So, no, we didn't really trust Georgia, but we trusted their defense. So that's what you're looking at. But it happens. I thought the game would be low scoring. That was really my play. Was Georgia under. I had that with Michigan, and I was surprised of that they scored 40 points on them. That's ridiculous. Alabama, where was that against Auburn? See, that's my point. They scored 3 points on Auburn. They couldn't get a first down, and then they can score 40 on Georgia. What the fuck does that? It makes no sense. Anyway, so good luck today. And again, if you have Minnesota, New England in a teaser, which I do, and Minnesota loses, which I don't think will happen, you then come back and take the Oakland over, or I don't know what time the San Diego game, if that's at 4, take that over with New England, or take Frisco under. One of those games. I don't know all the 4 o'clock games because they keep switching them, but play a 4 o'clock game, with New England if you need, or play the night game, whoever that. It's either Baltimore or Frisco. The night game, just play that one with. So if you got Baltimore Pitt, I don't really know. Probably under, and then Frisco Seattle's definitely under, or you can take Pitt and 10.5. But I did that last week, and I'm regretting that. So they're far worse than Georgia, the Steelers. All right, everybody. Well, it's nice talking to you. www.teaserking.com. The professor signing off. Gonna go find my gold. All right. Have a nice day. www.teaserking.com.